What's happening, sports fans? How you doing? I am Kendrick, the sports guy. Good Friday to you, and we are previewing the Packers-Eagles game that's taking place on tonight. That's right, on Friday. It's going down in Brazil. We're going to talk about that in this segment. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click that follow button. But before we get to that, got to talk about the Chiefs-Ravens last night. Rematch of the AFC Championship game. The Chiefs were able to pull this thing out 27-20. The Ravens was this close. I mean, that close on that touchdown. The tight end's foot was scraping the white. Referees ruled it not a touchdown, and that was it. Again, the defending Super Bowl champs get the victory over the Ravens 27-20. Now to tonight. Again, it's happening in Brazil. Kickoff at 7:15 p.m. on Peacock. We got the Green Bay Packers with their second-year starter Jordan Love against the Eagles in their fifth-year quarterback Jalen Hurts in his third year starting last season. Let's talk about these two guys. The Hurts. It was kind of an off year for him a little bit. He had 23 touchdowns and 15 interceptions, but that was a lot of interceptions. The offense didn't seem like to have any consistency or continuity, and so they kind of lackadaisical is the word I want to use. Just seemed like the offense didn't have any punch to it. Now to the Jordan Love of the Packers. He's coming in the second year as a starter. Last year was his first year. He started off a little rocky. The first 8 weeks weren't going that well, but then he hit that zone, and from the 8th week on, he was on fire. He ended up having 32 touchdowns and 11 interceptions for the season, and he got that big road victory in wild card round at the Dallas Cowboys at AT&T Stadium, what I affectionately call Lambeau Field South. If you don't know, I'm a Packers fan, so I had to throw that in there. And staying with the Packers, if you don't know, this is the youngest team in the league. They only have one player over the age of 30, and that is defensive end Preston Smith. So this is a very young team going against somewhat of a veteran-laden team. Now, the Packers are young at the wide receiver positions with Christian Watson, Romeo Doubs, Jaden Reed, Dontavian Wicks, and a couple of young tight ends, whereas the Eagles, they got a lot of experience there with A.J. Brown and Devontae Smith, two of the highest paid wide receivers in the NFL, and they both are coming off 1,000-yard seasons, plus tight end Dallas Goedert. So both teams have some weapons, but I think the Eagles got the more experienced weapons. I like Christian Watson for the Packers, but he always seems to tweak a hamstring or something. So that keep an eye out on these young receivers for the Packers versus that secondary of the Eagles, which, by the way, they have 3 new starters in that Eagles secondary, but they do have a veteran that will be the anchor of that, Darius Slay, who spent 1 year away from the Eagles with the Lions, and then he came back. Now, the running back position. Both these teams got new faces at that position. As far as the Eagles, Saquon Barkley, you know him, with the Giants for a couple of years. He left the Big Apple to come to the city of brotherly love. This is one guy that if he stays healthy, if he stays on track, he's going to be a nice addition to this Eagles offense, who, by the way, now have a new offensive coordinator, Kellen Moore. So they're going to have a new look, got some new faces, especially at the running back position. Now the Packers, Josh Jacobs got a new running back as well. And the Packers will be without A.J. Dillon for the rest of the year because of a neck injury. So he's on IR. So what would Josh Jacobs do? He had a couple of great seasons with the Las Vegas Raiders. So he will be the new Packers go-to guy when it comes to running the ball. So that is just some of the marquee things. Again, I talk about the Packers defense. Their secondary is definitely going to have to step it up with Jair Alexander. They did add Xavier McKinney in free agency, but they're going to have their hands full with these 2 wide receivers and that tight end for the Eagles. Now, the Eagles' offensive line, they are returning 4 of their 5 starters, minus their center, Jason Kelce, who retired after this past season, All-Pro. He was the anchor of that offensive line, but they still got continuity. Again, they have 4 of the 5 starters returning. The Packers defense, can they put pressure on Jalen Hurts And can they contain the run game with Saquon Barkley? Now, they have 6 players with 4+ sacks last year, so we're going to see if they can continue to spread the sacks totals around and make sure that they get off to a good start. So, again, the Packers, youngest team in the league with only 1 player over the age of 30. So, I like this matchup. Again, I'm a Packers fan. I was born in the Milltown in Milwaukee, so I just want to see what Jordan Love is going to look like. This is going to be his second year as for your starting. Technically, his sophomore year as a starter. If you want to put it in high school football ranks, I guess if you would say. And now teams got tape on it. They got tape from last year, so they've been able to study his tendencies. Will he have that sophomore slump? I'm hoping he doesn't, but I wouldn't be surprised if he got off to a little rocky start. As far as Jalen Hurts, can he have a better season than he had last year? He kind of had a mediocre year as well, those 15 INTs. Will the new coordinator, Kellen Moore, will it breathe life into this Eagles offense? And will that secondary be better for the Eagles as well? Because they had more holes in it than Swiss cheese last season. So again, Packers, Eagles, big NFC matchup going down in Brazil at 7:15 p.m. My pick, going with the Packers. Think this is going to be tight. Think it's going to be an opportunistic game. But I'm going with the Packers 23-20 over the Eagles. That's my pick. I want to know yours. Talk to me in the comments. Make sure you like the video, subscribe to the channel, and click that follow button. I am Kendrick, the Sports Guy. We will see you on the other side and on the next report. I am out. Peace.